All right, here's what's happening. And, this isn't really a cause for celebration, but it's very much worth paying attention to. Joe Rogan, a guy who platformed Trump, endorsed Trump, voted for Trump, and spent a while saying horrible things about Joe Biden, is now suddenly realizing that deporting innocent people to a violent El Salvador mega prison is, quote, horrific. We talked about that a couple of days ago. In addition to this, you've got Dave Portnoy, the pizza guy from Barstool Sports, another Trump supporter, who has now gone off on Trump and his administration over Signalgate. We're going to review these two clips, but the big picture is that there are some major pro-Trump influencers. They're not turning on Trump, but they're expressing skepticism that this is the right approach for how to run an administration. So let's start with the Rogan video. If you watched or listened to the show 2 days ago, we talked about this already. Here is Rogan with the guys from Triggernometry saying the deportation stuff is a disaster.
But the thing is, you got to get scared that people who are not criminals are getting, lassoed up and deported and sent to, El Salvador prisons. I read some story. Was it Glenn Greenwald?
It was. Yeah. The gay barber guy. Yeah. It's scary, man.
Is that true? Is that story accurate?
With a bunch of these Agua guys, allegedly they got at least one guy who wasn't a criminal, who was just a gay barber who I think, according to the story, came here legally. When you do things quickly and you do things aggressively, that's how you get done. But that's also when mistakes get made.
Right.
And I think a human being being plucked out of nowhere and ending up in a country he's never been in a maximum security prison with gang members, seems like a bad thing to happen to me.
It's horrific. It's horrific.
I don't think that should be controversial.
No, that's not controversial at all. Again, that's bad for the cause. The cause is, let's get the gang members out. Everybody agrees. But let's not innocent gay hairdressers get lumped up with the gangs and then, how long before that guy can get out? Is there any plan in place to alert the authorities that they've made a horrible mistake and correct it?
Well, if you think about it from a government perspective, and this is where I think it gets quite sinister, is once you've done that, the incentive structure is never going to be to admit that and deal with it. The incentive structure is to say nothing, to cover it up, to pretend it didn't happen.
But
right?
That is horrible.
So we talked about this 2 days ago. As I explained to you, on the one hand, credit to Rogan for pointing this out. On the other hand, Rogan voted for Trump. He was generically in favor of the immigration crackdown to the extent that it was going to be, quote, criminals. But now that it's leading to people who have not been convicted of anything, including the gay barber being locked up in a foreign prison with actual gang members in a country they have no connection to, suddenly he's concerned. So on the one hand, good for Rogan. On the other hand, he helped build this. This is what he voted for. And finally, the problem also is that even whether they got the right people or the wrong people, regardless of whether the stories are sympathetic, a gay barber, a dad with a sick kid, or whatever, you are entitled to due process if you are physically in the United States. But okay, it's something. We now go to Dave Portnoy. If you missed this one, Trump's team accidentally included the Atlantic journalist, editor-in-chief, Jeffrey Goldberg, in a private group chat about what was then as yet to happen military strike on the Houthis in Yemen. It revealed not only information that's supposed to be classified, it revealed internal chaos, it revealed incompetence. And Dave Portnoy's take is that this is a disaster and that it is Trump's people who caused it. Again, Trump supporter. Let's listen to what he has to say.
In this new administration, you want to take accountability. Trump, you may love Michael Waltz. You love Pete Hesketh. You may love these guys. Somebody has to go down. To me, it's Michael Waltz. He's the one who added him to this conversation. But you can't have the top of the top security people in the United States with the most sensitive information in the world adding random editors of a magazine that hates Trump's guts to a group chat talking about an attack before it happens on a terrorist group. You can't poo-poo it. You can't downplay it. You have to sit up there and be like, holy shit, This is a fuck up of epic proportions. There will be accountability. I will get to the bottom of this. And frankly, I think I don't like calling for people's heads. Michael Waltz, it seems like you're the guy who added him to the group chat. You have to lose your job. You should step down. You cannot be adding random people to a group chat with this sensitive, classified information. Just be, oh no, poo-poo, it's on him. He should have left the group chat instantly. This guy shouldn't have stayed in. It's on Jeffrey Goldberg for not immediately being like, hey, I should be here. No. It's on you for adding him. And this has to be something that, and this is why I hate politics, you have to stand up here and be like, what a fuck up. I will demand answers, accountability in the heads. I don't care.
Now, of course, what he's suggesting needs to be done is something Trump has never in his life done, no matter what happens.
If you're right, left, there's nothing being made up here. Jeffrey Goldberg is telling the truth. It's obvious these texts are real. It's obvious they're classified. It's obvious we gave away the strike information 2 hours before it happened. We're lucky it didn't cause the death of American military members. Somebody has to go down for this. This is a mistake. This isn't a Barstool mistake where you let an idiot hang around like Mitzi. This is a mistake that can't happen twice. It cannot happen.
All right, so he goes on like this a few more seconds. This is important. This is important because Portnoy isn't some anti-Trump liberal, okay? He played a role in normalizing Trump to millions of voters, especially young men, during the last election. He helped sort of build the vibe that Trump was just a funny outsider. The left is too uptight. And even he is now saying, this is a mess. But here is what this isn't. This is not redemption, okay? Rogan and Portnoy don't get to now act like innocent bystanders. And I think this is the critical thing to understand. On the one hand, they boosted Trump and mocked Democrats and shaped that ecosystem that helped get us here. Neither of these guys, if you care about actual policy, democratic norms, or basic human rights, was on the correct side in November of 2024. On the other hand, it's not lost on me that when even the people inside the machine are calling out the disaster of their own creation, something is going on. And importantly, if this is what they're saying out loud, imagine what they're saying in private. I don't mean Dave Portnoy and Rogan. I think specifically they are saying out loud what they are believing in public. But think about all of the other right-wingers who are remaining silent publicly, but are thinking similar or worse things privately. So the takeaway here is that there's an opportunity. Democrats often screw up opportunities, but there is an opportunity here to say to a lot of people, we're with you. We're with you. Will Democrats have something else to offer is the question. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what the Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out the Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.